Namaskar and welcome to Sansad Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our show Perspective, where we bring you detailed analysis of key national and international issues. Today we're going to talk about our neighboring country, Pakistan, and the situation therein. Now, Pakistan has a history of prime ministers disqualified, assassinated, hanged, and military dictators overthrowing democratically elected governments. In fact, it has been almost impossible for Pakistani politicians to become prime minister and then remain in office without military support. Pakistan's military has always had the upper hand in matters of how the country should be run. A lot has happened in the Pakistan in recent past this year, starting with Imran Khan being voted out of power through a no confidence motion in April. He started a protest march to Islamabad last month after his party won the crucial by-elections in several seats. 1 week into his haqiqi azadi march, marked by rallies in between, Imran Khan was shot thrice by a gunman in Wazirabad. He blamed Pakistan's Prime Minister, Home Minister and senior army officials for this attempt on his life. Meanwhile, Army Chief Gen Qamar Bajwa's retirement and choosing his successor has become another contentious issue in the country. So what exactly is the current situation in Pakistan and how are things likely to proceed? We'll try and analyze and understand as well as to what is happening in our neighboring country. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Retired Major General Dhruv Katoch is here with us, Director of India Foundation. Welcome, General Katoch. We're also joined by Professor Sanjay K. Bhardwaj. He's Chairperson of the Center for South Asian Studies, the School of International Studies in JNU, and former Ambassador Prabhu Dayal is also with us. Welcome, both of you gentlemen, as well here on Sansad Television. I'll begin with you, General Katoch, and let's start by trying to answer the simplest of the questions. What is happening in Pakistan?
Thank you. Actually, there are multiple issues which are taking place in Pakistan today. For a very long time, they have been plagued with internal security problems. When we talk of Balochistan or what is happening in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which has spread to Gilgit-Baltistan, and that is one element of security which they have not really been able to get a hold of. There are many causes for it, but primarily Pakistan itself is responsible for the internal security mess they are in. This is one. The second is a combination of very faulty policies which have taken place, which has put that country in a financial and economic mess. Now that is playing out, and today there are two basic problems which they are facing. One is inflation, and the second is employment. And with the burgeoning population, they are finding it very difficult to handle. But in my opinion, I think they would have actually managed both these issues. What they will really find difficult to handle is political instability which has taken place now.
Okay.
And this political instability, for the first time we are seeing an individual, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan, has taken up direct cudgels against the Pakistan army. I have never seen it so blatant, an antagonism between a political entity and the army earlier. Otherwise, all political parties in Pakistan have been, in some sense, subservient, or they played second fiddle to what the army required. And now Imran Khan, primarily I think to keep his position in Pakistani society, after he was ousted from power, let me use that word, he went on an offensive. And despite the fact that Imran Khan's tenure was a disaster as Prime Minister, where the economy went down and the security situation deteriorated, the very fact that he took up a stand, or a perceived stand, against what he called America, that he said, all this has been caused by America and I'm standing up to America, he had public support. And this public support is very strong today, and that is a concern for the Pakistan army.
Okay.
So this is the situation now. How this situation can be unraveled is to be seen. But in my view, the most dangerous situation is a civilian uprising. We have actually seen civilians on the streets in front of the Corps commander's residence in Pakistan shouting slogans against the officer.
Indeed, indeed.
It is unbelievable.
Those visuals are something, which have not been seen earlier from Pakistan, if I may say. And perhaps when we look at the situation, I'd like to bring in, former Mr. Prabhu Dayal here as well. Mr. Dayal, as General Katoch is pointing out, there's a whole gamut of issues, but perhaps the most important and the most significant one right now is the fluid political situation. And then you throw in the army angle there as well. Pakistan's military. General Bajwa is set to retire on 29th of November. He's publicly said that I don't want to continue. But then what happens next?
Well, Vishal, the topic which you have chosen for the discussion, imploding Pakistan, is very significant, because when a country is going to explode, it means it is going to collapse. And there are many, many causes which create threats for the very existence of Pakistan. General Katoch very rightly pointed out the deep divisions between the different ethnic groups. I served in Pakistan from 81 to 85, and I have dealt with matters relating to Pakistan here in the External Affairs Ministry over a long period of time. And it always struck me how the Punjabi-speaking majority crushed the minorities belonging to the Sindhi, the Baluch, and the Pashtun-speaking parts of the population. So the ethnic divisions always ran deep. However, with the help of the Pakistan army, which was dominated by the Punjabis, the Punjabi-speaking group was able to control and ride roughshod over the other groups. Now what has happened is that the resentment of the public, as General Katoch pointed out, against the armed forces is running very high. And this is encouraging various ethnic groups to assert their separateness, and there is a danger that Pakistan will start splitting. Now, the political situation gets compounded by the worsening economic crisis. Pakistan is in an economic mess. Its financial situation is pathetic. It has been bad for a long time. As it is, the world was going through the COVID crisis, the energy shortage, the food shortage. But in the context of Pakistan, these matters have been compounded. As you know, there were very serious floods, and the food situation, availability, all this has been worsening. And the worst affected are the poorer sections of society. Now, the government has tried to put in place some subsidies for energy, but the poor are saying that the energy subsidies only help the rich.
Okay.
So there is a deep division now starting between the rich and the poor. The ethnic disputes are increasing. The political divisions between the ruling party and Imran Khan's party are now becoming street battles. The resentment against the Pakistan army is growing. So all these point to the fact that there are existential threats which have come into play as regards Pakistan, and the situation is very, very serious.
Okay. Let me bring in Professor Sanjay Bhardwaj here as well. Professor Bhardwaj, from your point of view, as both our panelists are pointing out, the situation is not, a pleasant one in Pakistan as of now, and this fluid political situation specifically, when we are talking about the tussle between the opposition and the ruling party on the streets as well. And let's not forget, Pakistani army or Pakistan's military as a very important aspect of the entire, structural system there. How do you see things moving ahead from here onwards? Are we looking at, a sort of a sad or a very, fearsome twist in the tale here?
Yeah, thank you. I see in Pakistan there is a three crises altogether are happening. One is, of course, economic crisis that, the inflation rates has reached around 20%. You can see that the poverty will rise around 4%. World Bank has estimated that around 9 million people will join in the poverty of Pakistan. You know that there are, because of the flood, there are crises of like 30 to 40 billion dollars burden has increased because of the flood and all that. The second crisis is, of course, about the political crisis, and that we are talking. What happened that Pakistan in the historically had been ruled by three A's. That particularly we say that America, Army, and Allah, and they had been defining and deciding the destiny of Pakistan over the years. And the Awam did not have any place or any space in the Pakistan politics. And whenever the Awam tried to raise any their voices, from Nawaz Sharif to from Benazir Bhutto, and you can say till Imran Khan, that has been suppressed by the DP state that we are talking about, Pakistan Army or that. And because of that, Pakistan becomes sometimes dysfunctional state. The third crisis is very important, is that now on foreign policy issues, there are crises that has, you know about earlier, they were understanding that the issues related to India and Kashmir and Afghanistan, Taliban and America and military issues will be dealt by the Pakistani army, and the rest of the issues will be dealt by the civilian government. First time Imran Khan had questioned the Americans and questioned the army, and that has gone crisis that created a foreign policy crisis on the issues that where Pakistan should tie, and he had appreciated that India is adopting independent foreign policy. Pakistan should also adopt it. What is the problem? Problem is that Pakistan has foundational challenges and problem. Ambassador has already indicated about that there is a deep-root contention in Pakistan states between the urban and rural, between the urban and tribal, and between the urban and urban. Baluch and Punjabis and Sindhis and Punjabis and Muhajir and Punjabis, there are deep contention. Within the Islam also there is contention between Shia and Sunnis, Ahmadiyya, and all these issues had fragmented the Pakistani society, weakened the Pakistani society.
Okay.
And what happened because of these foundational challenges from the beginning, Pakistan state's democratic credentials had been very weak. Since I told about Awam did not have any space, but in the last 6 years, you can say from 2013 onward, while there were a movement by a black court movement about Iftar Chaudhry, Justice Iftar Chaudhry. From there, now Pakistan Awam had started showing their face, and they had started demonstrating on the street. And you see that there are a number of demonstrations had been taken place from Lahore to Islamabad, and I think this is the very popular. It is showing that how the Awam has come in support of Imran Khan, and because of the increasing Imran Khan's popularity in Pakistan politics, there are a number of issues. That corruption issues is there. There are a number of issues where Imran Khan has appointed his man in Punjab as chief minister, and there are other issues also, that because of the increasing popularity and a different stand on foreign policy that has converted and brought a political crisis in Pakistan. And this happens. What is happening in academics, we used to say two things. If the civil society is least mobilized, then there is very less chance there is more chances of army intervention. And if the civil society is highly mobilized, like today in Pakistan, you can see the way Imran Khan and Tehreek-e-Insaf is mobilizing the people. Again, there is a possibility that Pakistan army will intervene, because if there will be free and fair election today, Pakistan, Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran Khan's Tehreek-e-Insaf will come into power. And
that's a very important point. Professor Bhardwaj, I'd like to come in here, because you're making a very important, significant point. I'll take that to General Karosh here as well, because you also mentioned initially that how the situation is moving ahead, and we've seen in the past also the intervention by Pakistani army. Now, there is a fluid political situation. There has been earlier occasions also wherein there have been such fluid political situations, or perhaps, the government of the day has not been, towing the line of Pakistani military. So the military intervened, and there have been several occasions there. Now, in addition to that, what Professor Bhardwaj is pointing out, that with the civil society, getting worked up, can that also be one of the, triggers for Pakistani army to intervene once again? Are we moving ahead on that part, given the fact that General Bajwa is set to retire on 29th of November?
Actually, the biggest threat they are facing is civil disturbances, where millions of people come out on the streets. In my view, I don't think the army is going to get in. Primarily for the reason is that the country is in such a mess, the army is not going to take on this commitment. They will continue to control the situation by pulling all the levers of power from behind the scenes. So that is the way I'm looking at it. But you see, the question is, how are you going to control the civil disturbance? So more and more force is going to be employed in trying to execute control, that is by the police and other forces, and if required, the military will come in. Alongside, the ethnic and sectarian disturbances are also likely to increase, which are going to put further pressure on the Pakistan army. And there is no one force which can actually coalesce all these people together to unite them once again. So the disparate tendencies are going very, very strong. Worse still, just today, I think today or yesterday, another new thing has happened as far as the Pakistan economy is concerned, by which the banking facilities where riba was, they're having Islamic banking now. And while the case was in court, the Supreme Court has said, okay, you can have Islamic banking after 20 years. This case has been going on for about 20 years now. So now with what is happening with this Islamic banking is, and if it goes through, because the State Bank of Pakistan had objected, and now with the government putting pressure on the State Bank, they have withdrawn their objection from the court. So let us say Islamic banking comes in. That will spell the complete collapse of the Pakistan economy. So I think situation is only going to go from bad to worse, and we are looking at some very, very serious problems. On India's behalf, I think our best policy now, in my view, is not to interfere in what is happening there.
Okay. We'll come to that part as well, looking at it from India's perspective and what we should do as well. But taking this point further to Ambassador Dayal, Ambassador Dayal, again, the big question always when we have seen, in the past such situations in Pakistan is if army, not if army will intervene, as to when army will intervene.
Well, if the situation goes completely out of hand, then there is a possibility that the army could step in to control the situation and restore some degree of law and order. However, the causes of the present unrest are very deep. As it is, there are ethnic tensions. As it is, there is great feuding between different political factions. But what has worsened the situation is the terrible economic situation in Pakistan. As it is, that country was in a financial mess, but the recent floods have made things worse. And the common man has been very, very badly affected. It is being estimated that in recent weeks, about 9 million people in Pakistan have been pushed into poverty.
Yeah.
They are finding it very difficult to make two ends meet. Now, that is one reason why so many people have come out on the streets in support of Imran Khan, because the blame lies with the government as far as the common man is concerned. He blames the government for the economic mess.
Ironically, just a few months ago, Imran Khan himself was in the government. He was the Prime Minister of the country.
Correct. But now he is finger pointing at the government, and there is nothing that the government can do to control the situation as far as the economic mess is concerned. The Chinese appear to bail out the Pakistan government, but they don't do it on easy terms for Pakistan. They do it as a money lender
Okay.
with pretty high interest rates. And Pakistan's economic mess only becomes worse on account of this.
Okay.
China's share of the total foreign debt of Pakistan is about 30%.
Now,
And
that's
Pakistan
that's
spends
another
about
worrying figure there.
80% of its GDP servicing foreign loans. So
Okay.
you can visualize the sort of economic situation. And that is why the anger of the common man who's out on the streets
Okay.
is going to only increase.
Okay, okay. Professor Bhardwaj, quick comment from you on this aspect, as to how things are likely to move ahead vis-a-vis, armies stand on this. And then also, let's not forget that these are two political parties, one in power, one in opposition, trying to outdo each other. But its impact on the overall civic order or the social order of the country seems to be something which is a great cause of concern.
I want to make two very quick comments. First thing, what are the techniques of army in Pakistan dealing with civilian? There are four techniques. One, first they try to influence the civilian government. If they fail it, then they start blackmailing on the issue of corruption and inefficiency. And if it is not, then the third technique is that they have alternative, or you can say replacement of one set of government by another set of government. Like Nawaz Sharif was replaced by Imran Khan, and Imran Khan is now, they are looking any third alternative to whom they can bring back. And if it doesn't happen, then they adopt the fourth technique, is the supplantation, like coup, like Musharraf had did in 1999. So these are the techniques that Pakistan army, they try to adopt it, and wherever their interests are served, their military state interest, their corporate interest, and their interest about their say. If these are attacks, then they apply all these four techniques wherever it is fit. Number one. Number two, there are two countries, they are savior for Pakistan sometimes, like China. Chinese now they are trying to hold, because they have very deep strategic interest as well as they have deep economic interest. And the Chinese, they have tried to appease Shahbaz Sharif, he went there, and a number of packages has been given. Bilawal Bhutto is already in Saudi Arabia. He's trying to negotiate that they can extend the loan and for that. And Americans, the Imran Khan, the way they have come out against the Americans, and Pakistan army has become savior of Americans. So they are trying to manage these things for the economic, to come out from the economic crisis. And for politically, if it would not go in the right directions, I think the army will find a passage to intervene directly in its affair.
Eventually that might happen. But coming back to the final point which you were mentioning earlier, Gen Katoch, and that is for us, for India, it is really, really important that we have a stable neighborhood. Pakistan has been anything but stable all these years. Now, given the present situation, what is the strategy that we should be looking at?
I think it will be very important from India's point of view not to interfere in what is happening in Pakistan. Because if they see India trying to stoke the fire, so to say, you will unite the whole country. They have a problem, they must fix that problem. And if they don't fix that problem, they are going to balkanize. This country will split sooner rather than later. And we should be simply watching on the sidelines to see how that takes place. But getting involved into it, I think, is incorrect. My second point, which I think is very important, I think we need to be very careful now that if there is going to be civil war inside Pakistan, if it takes place, a large number of refugees will try to come to India. We have to prevent that. And we have to use non-lethal means to prevent it. So I think as far as our border guarding force is concerned, we need to sensitize them that should a scenario of this nature occur, there is no way in which we are going to get back to what happened in Bangladesh, where 10 million people actually crossed over to India for 1 year. So we do not want that stage to happen, and we have to take preventive actions now. But something will happen, and especially if Islamic banking comes in, there will be an outflow of capital from within Pakistan. So I think they're looking at multiple challenges.
Okay, indeed, there are multiple challenges. Thank you so much, General Katoch, Mr. Prabhudyal, and Professor Bhadwaj as well for sharing your views and insight as our experts were pointing out various facets, various aspects of the problem which Pakistan is facing right now, imploding from within on various issues, be it internal strife within one community to the other, or the financial situation, the political instability, and let's not forget the main angle, the main point out there, the Pakistani military as to what will it do in the given situation. We'll keep a close watch and keep you updated on all the details. Till then, keep watching Sansad Television. Thank you.